kind of get started here.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Yeah, I'm Reggie Bassi. I'm Network Expansion Director here at Corium. So my background, I come from Ripple. I've been in the blockchain space for maybe 8 years now. So in this space, if you've been there for that long, you're considered one of the OGs.
Right.
So I'm
Definitely.
happy to say that. Prior to that, I was actually in the video game industry. I work on the software side, the marketing side. I was a developer advocate, so I bring that to the table as well. And yeah, I mean, this is the next step in sort of my adventure and Corium's adventure. So it's cool to be here, man.
Yeah, it's a unique time, I think, in the world. Maybe every time ever is kind of a unique time in the world, or at least just in the last couple hundred years. But especially in crypto and marketing, and a lot of different things are in unique spaces with AI and all this stuff happening. So it's definitely fun to sit down and have a talk about some aspects of that. So glad to have you here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, AI seems to be the next big thing that's scaring a lot of people. It's kind of what blockchain was, a few years ago.
Right.
But it's not something to be feared. I mean, it's I think it'll open up avenues for a lot of people. Um, So yeah, I mean, blockchain has been good to me, and I feel like I'm not scared of AI. So it's like bring it on.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be doing some iRobot stuff maybe, but it'll be worth it if it doesn't end up like that, right? No. Just kidding.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, let's just jump into it. This week we wanted to kind of start off just with some icebreakers, kind of talking about some hot topics that are happening in the crypto world or sometimes just in the world in general. We just kind of messing around and talking about AI here, but I have a couple of questions that I just wanted to get your take on. Doesn't have to be anything serious, but if you have any thoughts on it, I just wanted to share it with the audience. And also, I'm interested as well. So, first off, is just this last week, after coming up to over 30K. Bitcoin is now starting to, waver a little bit. There's questions about whether interest rates are going to continue to rise. People are looking at different statistics that are supposed to lead for recessions. A lot of those are labor statistics, the consumer price index, etc. Any thoughts on the any of that and where Bitcoin is headed and the general market is headed? I'm still thinking we're in a bear market. Meme coins are just popping off. But what are the factors that you're looking at as far as macro for the greater crypto economy?
So I think you really need to focus on the greater economy, which controls everything. I think the economy is still good. I mean, there are still job opportunities. People are finding employment. So overall, I don't think the economy's, there might be a softening of the job market, but I feel like the economy's still strong. It's doing well. People are doing well overall. Not everyone, but I think the general trend is positive. And with that, I think, like you're right, the Bitcoin is in the bear market, which, if Bitcoin's in the bear market, other tokens are going to be in the bear market a little bit. But overall, I'm not too concerned. I feel very positive about this space and the economy in general.
Right.
So I think the next few years, I think it's going to be an upward trend. I think you just sort of have to just kind of ignore the noise. That's sort of the best investment advice anybody can give you is just ignore it and just hold on. I mean, if you believe in the product, if you believe in the team, I think you shouldn't really worry.
Right.
That's my opinion, anyways. I don't know what you think.
I mean, as far as for mental mental health and insanity, yeah, you can't be constantly like uh, believing everything you're hearing, and it consistently seems like when people are saying, uh, this is the bottom, it goes lower, or this is the top, it goes higher, or vice versa. Like, there's really no necessarily rhyme or reason to it, at least for like the layman. So yeah, I would agree that I'm definitely a hodler, but I love kind of, the fun of once I've compartmentalized my investing and my, say, like gambling or just my interest in what's happening in the economy, then it's a much healthier and fun thing to just talk about. So that makes sense. Yeah, I would agree with most everything you said. So, but with that in mind, kind of the next hot topic. It's been hot for a little bit now, but like Pepe and meme coins. I honestly can't recall whether in previous cycles whether meme coins popped off before Bitcoin. It feels like that was not usually the case. Um, but yeah, any thoughts on why that's happening this time, and has that happened in the past, to your
I think
knowledge?
it happens here and there. I mean,
Yeah,
it is a little weird, but I feel like you
that's what
can't
I'm saying.
necessarily predict the market and what people are going to, you know, invest in, in quotations.
Yeah,
It is what it is. I mean, it's a meme coin. It's I think it's for people who are trying to find a quick buck or gain a quick buck. It's risky. It's not something I partake in just because I don't have the risk tolerance for that. And just follow the which memes are kicking off. It's
right.
just too much. You know,
You've
it's
got to be
I don't
deep in.
really partake, man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe here or there for me, but I think you have to be deep in some of the Reddit or Discord, servers in order to really get lucky. But also, some people do. So if it's for you, then keep having fun. I hope the
Have
best for
fun.
everybody that
Don't
likes
risk.
playing.
Don't
Yeah,
bet the
exactly,
house. You can
exactly.
have fun, but don't bet the house.
So it sounds like I wanted to ask as well. Like, did you get involved in crypto from the beginning, being involved from the project side, or was it just like a personal investment, interesting topic, upcoming thing? Yeah, where did you kind of get started with that?
So it was really just an interest in the technology. I think
Mm,
the ledger system, it's beautiful. Just when you look at it, it's something that, oh, why didn't I think of this?
hmm.
It's something that you just sort of admire. And that's sort of I was on the periphery of that. And then I had the opportunity to come join the industry. I didn't realize how big it had gotten. You know,
Right.
Bitcoin was what? It seems so long ago. So, I was fortunate enough to be welcomed into the industry and I haven't left. So it's a good thing. I've nothing really to say but positive things, to be honest. It's been good to me.
Yeah, I think that's undervalued obviously now in the bull market, but in general, like with AI and maybe some other things taking the front seat in some of the news cycles or in people's minds, um, I think maybe as long as regulation somehow works out, there's already use cases around the world in kind of worldwide economic downturn. But I think they'll continue to be, especially if things do get a little bit worse for some countries and some places. But even if things start to improve, I'm seeing more and more use cases for like during a um, I guess not recession, economic boom, especially with the few years we've had here to kind of consolidate and maybe shake out some other projects. We're still having new projects pop up all the time as well. So last one for you on this. Bitcoin halving is in just over a year, or just under a year, excuse me. Um, and personally, I'm excited about that because Bitcoin isn't, it's not at 18,000 anymore. It's at, from the 25 to 30 range right now. And I'm just hodling and buying, dollar cost averaging in because I think in a year, likely it'll be higher than it is now. But any thoughts on halving or yeah, Bitcoin in general.
I think I think if you believe in the space, I think you believe in Bitcoin. It's one of those
Right.
things. It was the first one, and I think, like you said, there is a bear market. There is a bit of a, sometimes negative sentiment regarding it. But I think the future is bright, man. I think it's inherent to what we do, and this is it's a great coin. It's the first one. I have nothing but positive things to say about it. And really, I think the halving, I think it's a good thing. I think everything will work out in the end. I'm not a pessimist. I feel like I think if you have Bitcoin, I think you're going to be lucky. Coming, a few years, it really isn't much. When you think about it. When you think of in terms of investing, whether it's stocks or whatever, maybe or indexes, a few years is this noise, right? It doesn't really matter. I think the long-term trend, and if most people are pretty young, you should have a higher time horizon than somebody who's like in their 60s or 70s. So if you're in your
Right.
20s, 30s, I think you're gonna be you're gonna be happy long term.
Cool. Well, thank you for, just some personal insights and anecdotes into
I
into
think
kind
you,
of crypto
I
and
think you
Bitcoin and all
always
these
have to
things.
be positive, I think
Yeah.
keep a smile on your face.
You know, whenever you can, it's good to be positive. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes, some stuff has happened and you gotta be sad or down for a bit. But whenever it's a choice, if you can sit down and just look at the positives, it I at least have a better day. So that's me
Absolutely.
personally. But it sounds like maybe a little bit you too. So
Absolutely.
um yeah, let's jump into it. We're here to talk about Corium, obviously, and we've got, let's see, over 300 people here listening in, trying to understand more about, what is this new, not even that new L1, but what is Corium, what differentiates it. So I've just got some questions for you, but if we jump around a little bit, that's okay too, because a lot of them are kind of intertwined. But if this is someone's first time hearing about Corium, what's like your elevator pitch for, 30-second pitch for what it is and why it's good?
Okay. So yeah, in a nutshell, Corium, it provides a highly scalable, very secure, and I think a very developer-friendly platform for building applications geared towards the needs of enterprises. That's sort of our focus at the moment. So yeah, whether technology developers or businesses can leverage features to create, I think, innovative and very efficient solutions for various industries. So it's highly scalable. It's focused on enterprise needs at the moment because we feel like
Mm,
enterprise is where the next level of adoption is going to come from.
yeah,
Um, I think it's very important. Enterprises have kind of been reluctant to get into the blockchain space because there hasn't really been an L1 that gives them the solutions that they need. Um, so I feel like we're there to fill in that gap. And from the responses, I feel like this is the right move from what I'm
right.
seeing. So it
Hmm.
seems like a good thing to me. So that would be, my small little pitch to you.
Yeah, I would say, at least just from a business standpoint, like, becoming a, let's say, profitable, there's a lot of B2C dreams out there, even Uber and Lyft and stuff still. Like, great idea, but eventually you have to make money. And I think, at least from the enterprise side, usually it's much easier to get to that break even, or being a profitable company. So kind of taking some of that and mixing it in with an L1 makes a lot of sense to me. So interesting. Is there any one, just since you mentioned like some enterprise use cases, is there any one like that's most interesting to you, or that you can throw out for us that's kind of maybe in the
So
works, already
one
being
of our
used?
unique things is like smart tokens, right? So with those, they're basically, they're natively issued tokens on our chain, right? That are wrapped around smart contracts. So they're highly customizable, yeah, designed to be super lightweight, super fast, and flexible and extendable. So it's great for, if you're enterprise and you CRM or enterprise resource managing tools. This is like perfect for that. So that is like a very, low hanging fruit, I feel like. So
Mm,
that's one of those things that any enterprise could definitely make use of. We can get into that a little bit later too. I have
cool.
some thoughts. So
All right, I'm excited. I'm excited. All right, before we jump in too deep, then, yeah, just to do a little bit of compare and contrast with other layer ones, maybe some older and some other newer ones as well. Um, what what else makes Corium a little bit unique compared to some of the other ones, other than, we've talked about the focus, I guess, on enterprise right now. Anything else of note?
well, it's super scalable, right? High throughput, low latency, which is, I think, again, I think it's crucial for supporting large scale applications.
Right.
So as we've seen with Ethereum, it's kind of hit or miss sometimes. So our platform isn't like that. We really emphasize the needs of pushing large scale applications where many users can be interacting at the same time. So that's a
Right.
very deep focus for us. Again, yeah, providing a very developer friendly environment is important for us as well. So really focusing on comprehensive tooling and documentation to very simplify that process. Because developers they got the world on their shoulders all the time. So we really
Hmm.
want to make it easy for them to build on our platform. I think we've done that. I think we continue to do that, and we're always open to hearing feedback from our developers and
Mm.
then taking that and running with it because we're a young team, we're very agile, and we can make changes very quickly. So if
Yeah.
any developers are are out there, just reach out to me and just send me a message on Telegram or whatever it might be, and then we'll be off to the races, man, making your lives much easier.
Yes, that if anything, that's my favorite part of successful companies is hearing about the stories of when they did listen, when they did figure out who their niche is, who their target market is. Obviously, you have a couple here that you're focusing on, and one of them being developers. And if you can listen and improve and be you do have to be maybe leaps and bounds more user friendly or developer friendly than say like Ethereum, right? Um, but if you can accomplish that, just looking at other sectors, you definitely can find success. So that's really exciting as far as the future outlook for Corium. Kind of taking a step back here, if you could just help us understand where did Corium come from? When did this form as an idea in someone's mind, and when did the first action take place, and then where are we now, kind of in Corium's life, I guess.
So I think the kernel of everything started with uh, the premise that the next level of adoption will come from enterprise needs. So this is a few years ago, right, from our founders.
Right.
Um, so that's been the core focus, just from their perspective and from the developer's
Hmm,
perspective, and then from our perspective now. So that is sort of the kernel of everything that we do.
I see.
Um, so with the current landscape of blockchains, we don't feel like they were really capable of supporting the needs of those types of clients.
Mm,
Whether it's scalability, whether it's compliance, or just having enterprise specific features that never really existed in the blockchain space. So we feel like we're one of the first ones to really emphasize that sort of stuff. Um, so yeah, after they refined their ideas a bit, they assembled awesome team of engineers and developers who are working tirelessly to bring this concept to life. And the mainnet was just launched a couple months ago um, through rigorous testing, and now we're kind of moving on to phase two. We've launched, and phase two is just building out our ecosystem. So definitely sponsoring hackathons, pushing forward with significant developer outreach, significant enterprise outreach to teach them and to educate them on what's possible, right? And
hmm.
building out our academic programs. So that really pushing education and really, going ahead and getting sort of the best talent on our platform is sort of the vision that we have right now for this year and the next. So yeah, that's I don't know if I'm rambling, but that's sort of my spiel on that subject.
No, that was super clear. I would say I didn't realize, I guess, that the enterprise was as much of a focus from the very beginning, but I guess that makes sense since that, yeah, I guess that's more of like a core tenant rather than just like the focus right now. So that's unique and good to hear. And then yeah, more understanding of the not only, I guess, immediate focus on developers and maybe the short term, but also educating and helping like even the next generation, or people who maybe don't feel inclined to be developing or things right now, but learning and understanding for the future. So obviously a
Yeah.
long term outlook as well.
Yeah, I think you have to, I'm emphasizing enterprise because it's like actual use cases, right? And
Right.
so it's not just something that's
Have
very
the ideas.
experimental. Yeah, exactly. It's something that is actually useful, scalable, and that's what we want. That's what the founders emphasized right from the beginning. Like this would be the next level of adoption. And
Mhm.
so, we want to be that platform, you know. And so, yeah.
Makes me think, or I don't know too much about the founders, honestly, but I'm guessing that they come from an enterprise background or have some insights into this, or did they just have a good idea and
They
weren't
had the
necessarily
developers, they had a good idea, they had a powerful vision, which I think people, who are joining the team now are really recognizing. And I just joined a few months ago, and I've really recognized, okay, yeah, this is. It was almost eerily visionary. So I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, they're very very smart to figure this out a few years in advance.
And leadership plays a key role in companies, especially up and coming ones. So that's exciting to hear. At least they have buy-in from. We have a personal anecdote. Reggie's on board. He's all in. So though take it with a grain of salt, but you do need to see stuff like that, and you also seem like a sane person. So at least so far. So if by the end of this I still feel that, then I at least know that they've got one sane person that I've confirmed smart, and he's on board. So I'll factor that into all my considerations. But
Awesome.
I don't know if I accidentally just insulted you, but let's just move on. Next question. Um, so this is kind of not so much focusing on just Corium, but and again, it's just your personal opinion, so no worries if you don't have a strong opinion on it. But there's been conversations in the past. It's been going on for a while. Like, are we going to have a single layer one that wins out? Are we going to have multiple layer ones that are working together in their niches? Obviously, you have a little bit of a niche right now, but you would probably be happy to branch out once you're established in a more enterprise sector, and you're probably you already are likely just branching out to other areas as well. But any thoughts on whether we're going to have one win out in the end, or mini, or some hybrid of, I guess, hybrid of the two somehow.
So I think having a variety of like niche L1s, it definitely fosters competition and
Right.
innovation than specialization, right? So it allows different projects and industries to have very tailored solutions that cater to their needs. And so we're emphasizing obviously enterprise support right now. So we believe, having a healthy, diverse range of niche L1s is a good thing. We're Cosmos, we're using the Cosmos SDK for our project.
Mm-hmm.
And Cosmos, is having a federation of L1s, and we believe in that. And I feel like with Cosmos, anyways, it's super secure with IBC. It's a communication layer that lives sort of underneath everything, and having that ability to communicate with other chains on the platform is a good thing. I
Right.
feel like, obviously there are a limited number of developers, right? Blockchain developers in the world. They're more coming onboarding every day, but there's still a limited amount, right?
Right.
And so with this, at least there's the opportunity to branch out and build on different chains, right? Each chain is going to have their specific thing. We have our specific thing, but it allows you to right get educated in one sort of like ecosystem and branch out and build. And that's what we kind of emphasize. We don't necessarily want to lock them into our chain. I don't think you can lock developers in. I think they
Mhm.
find it very insulting. So we're not going to do
Right.
that. We want to be very developer friendly. I'm very developer friendly. I think we want to give you the best tools, the best programs that are running behind the scenes that makes your job easier, and that will naturally gravitate. Developers will naturally gravitate towards that. We feel like we have some good systems in place right now, and we're continually building those out. So I feel like we got a leg up on a lot of the chains they're sort of competing with. But again, it is competition. And to answer your question, yeah, I feel like having niche L1s is a good thing for the future.
And another interest, I just wanted to just point out again that I really enjoy how um, you can, there's almost some, I don't want to say insane, but I can't think of a better word, but just, I guess, very proud projects and things that are focusing only on themselves, and they might be right in the end. There's always a chance that they'll be the one that is the one and that survives everything, all the ups and downs, and gets all the developers there, but I think letting the processes, the project, the focus, the money, and things kind of speak for themselves is kind of what you guys are focusing on. Is just developing a actually good product for developers specifically, because like you said, then they will come and they'll continue to use it, and they can be an asset to you and be on board, even if it is with the same perspective, and hope it will be with the same perspective likely that you have, because um, yeah,
Yep.
multi-chain, multiple L1s all working together. It seems the most realistic right now. And again, I would also say that you have a good point that it is probably the healthiest for the overall market, because it does make people have to work harder, have to find their niche. And the thing is, like, even, you know, just looking at my background is more marketing. And so just looking at marketing agencies today, I have a buddy who's working on some restaurant focused marketing, because restaurants have historically some of the worst marketing in the world. But how long has marketing been around? How long have Google My Business and reviews and texting and all of these things been around? And some people still aren't using it. So even in 20 or 30 years, when maybe crypto's mainstream, there's probably going to be a new L1 that's targeting all the people that haven't onboarded yet and aren't sold on using blockchain technology and are still using, yeah, older technologies. So there's probably going to be innovation in new L1s, even when crypto is maybe more mainstream. That's at least my perspective based off of some of the points that you said that resonated with me. So
Yeah, I
just
mean, it makes sense, right? I no, I
right.
hear what you're saying. It's definitely it's one of those things, right? It's like we could, first of all, personally, I'm not a fan of like bloatware. I like having software
Right.
that's fast, sharp, like a samurai sword, just
Mm-hmm.
specifically tool to do something that I need it to do. Versus, you know, going through this approach of having something that's sort of very general and being kind of bloatware in a sense. We don't
Right.
want to be that, right? We want to be very sharp, like a samurai sword, like I said. Just having very, very high precision on what we want to do and what we want our goals to be. So yeah, no, I agree with you 100%.
Makes sense. I'm making more comparisons with like marketing and agencies in my head. Like, yeah, agencies are a bit bloated, and they aren't as good as someone that focuses on one thing, generally speaking. And so it is nice when you don't need like a top tier sales team to be constantly pulling in new people for your project or your company or whatever, when the company and the service and things kind of carry itself. The product is the sales team in a sense. So just again, more things that are interesting to me. We kind of already talked about it, but are there any other competitors right now that are focusing solely on enterprise, and that you're looking to beat out, or are already, or there are still key differences from, or any other I guess projects that you're maybe drawing influence from, that you wanted to talk about?
So specifically, I don't think anybody's really focused as much as we are on enterprise.
Mm,
That's our goal right now, and we have kind of like tunnel vision to achieving that goal. Uh, I feel like we just talked about. I think some L1s are trying to do too many things and becoming, in my opinion, kind of bloatware. And the needs of enterprises isn't necessarily the same as the needs of other developers or businesses or organizations, right? So that's the thing where we really want to cater to what enterprise needs. Again, our focus right now is on having something that's very scalable, high throughput, right? That can handle significantly high volume of transactions compared to other L1s that kind of flopping right now.
right.
Um,
Everybody's
uh,
listing their not living up to what they're putting on their own website maybe sometimes, but we won't
yeah,
name
no, absolutely. And
it.
again, right, enterprise, we're really focusing on compliance, launching applications and protocols for businesses, of any size. We want to make it super easy for them with the tools and the features that we offer. So it really doesn't matter if you're like a small scale business or a huge enterprise. These tools are highly flexible, as long as you have, developers on board. The layman's not going to be able to do it, right? So it has to be engineers, obviously, right? Um, so yeah, I feel like our vision of what we're trying to do is a little bit unique there. Like we're pushing a university program, right? We want to get students involved in learning about our platform because we feel like, experimental things will come from students and developers who are just starting out. I feel like the next big thing will probably be built, in some university campus somewhere, and we want
Right.
to be there and introducing them to our technology and our platform and our people. Um, so that's a big thing for us too, and just want to emphasize like that's sort of the approach that we're taking is we are focusing on enterprise, but we are bringing in introducing our product to students, right? Who will sort of, as they go into the workforce, they will be familiar with our technology. Um, and hopefully they gravitate towards it as well. And it is a Cosmos based project, so we have that support as well, which is a good thing in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say, though you're a lot more intelligent and have more experience than me. And I'm sure that even the developers and people working on the projects right now are probably even leaps and bounds above us, at least in their focus. But I know that there's just some. I think people are just IQs are getting higher and higher. At least the top end of the spectrum. Maybe not average. I'm not sure. I won't speak to that. But I know there are just people that are, able to make huge differences in the world and take seemingly simple concepts like a blockchain and a ledger and bring that to life where it's not a crazy idea. A lot of people could have thought of this, but it takes a unique perspective and someone who uh, uh, has, I guess, and probably an early understanding of some of these things to make the actual big changes. So I would agree that probably the next biggest things that happen in crypto, maybe not immediately but soon, are going to be coming from people younger than younger than me,
Much
which,
younger than me, dude.
right. So hey, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I've got my niche too, and I'm happy with that. But I'm also looking forward to that time. So
And I feel
that's
like
really
at that age, when you're like 18, 19, 20, 21, you're ready to take on the world, right?
yeah.
You
You
just
have a
need
little bit
like-minded
of
people with you to
you
be
don't
able
know
to
what
do
can stop you yet, basically. So you don't let
that.
it stop you sometimes.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this project, in a year from now when we have,
Mm.
you know, these crazy projects being built in like different universities around the world. And that's going to be super exciting, man. Like I can't wait to see it. So that's sort of one of the things we have. It's kind of, I'm telling you about it now, so it's obviously in the world right now, but we're just in the process of signing off these sort of like partnerships. So I can't reveal too much, but it's like I feel very excited. It's going to be a good
Ooh.
time, I feel
Well, when you can reveal it, tag us on Instagram or
like.
on Twitter so that we can repost it as well or something, because that's definitely interesting. And for anyone that's a student or even not a student that's listening in and just wanting to, maybe dive into developing and things, I guess I wanted to say one thing first before I jump into this is I have a lot of graphic designer friends, but that is maybe the one industry that a lot of my friends are struggling to find a job. And I know that, I'm not saying don't do that or anything, but yeah, be aware of what's up and coming if you're, trying to stay as valuable in a job market. Maybe there's additional things you can learn and see if you're interested in. So yeah, just a personal anecdote of the world right now, how something I've been seeing. But can you, since you can't share all of that, and that's kind of still in the works, are there any, little tidbits and maybe more of a secret or things that are more exciting that you can share right now? We've covered, most of the basics. I think we have a good understanding of the foundation of the project, and anything exciting happening right now that we can talk about.
So we had wave one of our grantees, right? So we have wave two going on with grant projects. We're always interested in having developers, they may have an idea, but they don't have the funding to actually get
Mm-hmm.
it implemented. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely we have our grant program. If you're a developer out there, you have an interesting project, just come towards us, just have a conversation. We're very open and very flexible to helping developers, independent developers, or even larger studios get their project off the ground. So that's one of the big things that we have going on. Um, Again, I can't get into specifics because we're sort of just nailing down
Okay.
the projects for for phase two here.
All right.
But
All right.
even if that happens, still you can approach us. We're still open to having a talk and opening communication with developers and helping you guys, man. It's a tough industry sometimes, and projects, this industry has a hard problem with projects coming on board and then dying off slowly. Uh, so we want to help you be sustainable. We feel like we can, and we feel like we can open doors with enterprises to have, your MVP, your product that's just being developed by yourself, get in the eyes in front of like enterprises. So that's going to be a very exciting thing too. So that's sort of opening up that line of communication. So yeah, I mean, if that's my sales pitch to any developers out there, it's like bring us your MVPs and we'll open doors for
Hey, not exciting to me because I am not a developer, but
you.
somebody out there is thinking about it right now. So if you have an idea, yeah, that's what I wanted to cover next. Was, yeah, I guess developers. Now you kind of have, what your homework is. Uh, if this has been an interesting conversation for you and you have some ideas or looking to work on um, another L1, reach out. How should they reach out? How can they get a hold of, your team or you specifically?
So yeah, just come. You can reach us on Twitter. You can come to our website. That we have a grant. I think we still have a grant application up. Just fill it out. But again, our team's reachable. You can just ping us on Twitter. We'll reply to you right away. I do all the time. So yeah, I mean, we're very easy in terms of getting a hold of. We don't. We feel like time is valuable, and we don't want to waste anybody's time. So let's just start the conversation. It's super easy, just like that.
And last question for you is, other than developers, how can other people get involved, learn more, you know, uh, basically get the conviction that you have about the project, or see if that's there for them. What else should people do if they're not a developer to stay involved?
Just follow us on our socials. That's sort of the number one thing. So we're gonna have huge announcements coming up. Just follow us. uh Listen to what we have to say, join these AMAs, and just listen to us. I think exciting times are on the horizon. I think people are going to be super lucky. And if I was a fan, I'd definitely be paying attention to this project, even if I wasn't actually actually working on the project. But I feel like cool things are going to happen.
Awesome. Well,
Awesome.
thank you so much, Reggie. It's been a pleasure. I had a really great time, and I hope you did as well.
Yeah, man, this was fun. I hope to come back on, maybe in the future if you want to have me.
Yes, you need to, when you can tell us all of the secrets and the interesting things, but instead we're just like on the edge of our seats, like, oh, what is it? What's happening? So, yeah, stay in touch. And then for everybody else listening, stay involved and make sure that you've completed all of the checklist for being involved in the giveaway for this Twitter space. We're going to keep doing more and more Twitter spaces. We have one coming up. We talked about meme coins a little bit today. We're going to be having an AMA with several different projects, which, good thing we're not all in the same room. I feel like I would have to, like, maybe, I'm scared. I'm worried that people are going to like fight or something. But hey, it might be fun, it'll be interesting at the very least. So stay involved with Poloniex too, guys, for more giveaways and more, just interesting conversations like this one today. And yeah, thank you to Reggie and thank you to everybody who tuned in. We'll see you guys soon. Okay. Thanks, Reggie.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.